saying. At least you have your health.
Health's not good enough.
Not everyone shares your sense of humor.
Health is wealth.
Evolve. Evolve.
We evolve through pain.
Evolv The Podcast.
Andrea and Julie.
It's time to begin.
All right, let's do it. Rock, paper, scissors, go. Draw. Rock, paper, scissors, go. Oh, draw. Rock, paper, scissors, go. Draw. Rock, paper, scissors, go.
Oh, I don't know
you
what
win.
that is.
You win.
Yay.
Paper beats rock. You get to start the podcast.
Hello, this is how we do it.
We've done it stupider ways.
Hello and welcome to Evolv The Podcast. I am Julie Saunders.
And I'm Andrea Waycott.
And we are going to talk about posture tonight. But before we do.
Yes, we want to celebrate Australians.
Absolutely. Australian Olympic effort. It's monumental.
It has been this worthy.
Yeah, indeed. So I think that the tally at the moment is 45.
We're third or something. We're behind USA and China, which have got like a gazillion people in each of those countries. We've got 30 million. Well done to us.
Well done to us.
Yeah. Per capita, I think we are on top.
Yeah, a monumental effort by athletes and their teams, you know, their support teams.
Absolutely. Their
alike.
Families who drove them to training and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
Yeah, but I do have to make mention of one of my favourite Olympians throughout this campaign. It was the Turkish guy, Yusuf Dekic, who was doing the air pistol. He looked like a contract killer.
Oh, I read a headline on this one.
He's only been shooting for a very short amount of time. He literally walked in one-handed and just did near perfect round, took home a silver.
Well, that's very Clint Eastwood of him.
It just goes to show you don't have to start when you're really, really young. You can just waltz in and take home a medal.
Not sure about the waltzing in, but yes.
He had wonderful posture.
So, awesome. Good segue.
Good segue. I had some photos taken on the inside of my body and it's not great. I ain't going to lie. I want to show you them and we can talk about that.
Yeah. You know I'm very passionate about posture, so we'll have a look at those.
Yes, because if there's one thing we'd like everyone to do after listening to this podcast is think more about their posture.
And be conscious of it. And to be quite honest, in my field, I'm looking at that often, every day with many of my clients.
Yeah.
So, and it's something that we all tend to need to work on or suffer from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me go get this picture and then we will discuss. Is it show and tell on Evolv the Podcast, Julie?
Well, it seems to be. We're going to have a look at your posture.
I have an X-ray. Now, I know some people aren't watching this, so I will describe this wonderful X-ray. I will put this on the screen.
Before you do that,
yes.
Why did you go to the chiropractor? What were the issues?
Yeah, so I was having issues with my right knee, believe it or not.
Oh, I do believe it, yeah.
It was aching, and so I heard that they did like a consultation where they did do X-rays and things like that, not of my knees, but I thought this would be really interesting. I'm at a point where maybe I need to check my posture, my spine, my body, my skeletal. So I went and had that done, and they pointed out that your body is supposed to have this lovely sort of S curve through it, and you're supposed to have this, you know, forward bend in your neck, and then an outer bend in your back, curving back in and then out again as you go into your pelvis. And what they do is they take this X-ray and then they show you where the curve should be versus where your back is. My neck is a bit of an issue because I spend a lot of time at my desk on a computer.
Right.
And also on my phone.
Like many people do.
Yeah, so there is changes going on even in my upper back because of the weight of my head and it moving forward, compression and degeneration of the little gaps between my vertebra. My neck is very straight. Now, that can be called things like military neck, tech neck. I think you had another name for it, but it's something I desperately want to work on. Well, I've got great faith in Dr. Bone.
Yes, Andrea told me that her chiropractor's name was Dr. Bone. Now, I thought she was...
I have brought the card along to prove to you
the
her
name. I thought she was
name.
taking the piss.
It is Dr. Bone.
It is Dr. Bone. And apparently Dr. Bone is a lovely person and has possibly gone into this field because of her name.
It sort of does seem like it would be wrong not to,
I
right?
know. I think I did mention to you that I was over in Adelaide many, many years ago, and on the side of the building it said, I think it was surgeon, and the couple of names of different surgeons. There, one of them being Dr. Slaughter or Mr. Slaughter. I think
I
it was.
ain't going to you, buddy.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether he or she should have changed her name.
I had a doctor when I was having Fletcher it was like I was going through a posterior delivery. This was very, very painful. His name, Dr. Nice.
And was he?
I didn't think he was very nice at the
not
time.
nice.
No.
Not nice. Okay, I think they make these things up.
All right, so back to posture.
Well, back to Dr. Bone. So where are you at with it?
So I am having treatment with Dr. Bone, and we do that for a number of weeks. And then at some point, I think it's at the end of 12 weeks, we go back and we do x-rays again, and hopefully I will get a little nice curve back in my neck in the right direction.
Yeah, I think with a lot of these muscular imbalances, there's when I say adjusting, I don't necessarily mean skeletally so, but sometimes, it's not something that I tend to move towards. Sometimes it's necessary. But definitely muscularly, there needs to be some adjustments before then we go into
So is that like strength? You mean like building strength?
No, not yet. First of all, there's some adjustments that are required at the level of the the chiropractor, the specialist, and then they sort of generally come to a trainer, and I work with the other chiropractor or the
osteo,
the physio, exactly, where you get the recommendations, and then we work on a strength-based exercise program.
Yep.
Often specific to the issue.
Yep.
But sometimes that, like you're potentially suggesting with your knee, it might be to work through the area specific and then right through the body.
I always thought my knee came from my hip. I sort of had this thing that there was a connection. And if my hip is connected to my spine and my spine is connected to my neck and all that sort of stuff.
Isn't there
I think there is a song about
knee
that.
bones connected to
So how do I get a good posture? Because like the advice that I was given is, a lot of people think, stand straight, shoulders back, blah, blah, but you tend to arch your back in a bad way when you do that. So chest out.
I think people can go overboard, and I don't think that there is a one-size-fit-all here that you're wanting me to say. I think it's individual, and it depends on the presentation of the individual, and that's what we would assess, the balance of shoulders and hips, from the front perspective, and then on the side, then as your X-ray is showing here, the balance of where your head sits against your shoulder, against your hip. So we look at all those things, and then often you'll have people saying, when they come to you, they'll say, I have a sore neck, or my lower back hurts all the time, my knee. All of those things. So we have to take all of those things into account. And then often it will require, a specialist to be involved in it. But sometimes not so. Sometimes we can work on those things first at a gym level, a rehabilitation type level, and unless we can't make some marked improvements on it, then a specialist is
So obviously posture
engaged.
is not just for aesthetics, because posture is about stacking your body in a correct way so your joints are load bearing the least that they have to for your life, right?
They're working together.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So if your posture's out, this is going to cause long-term issues, and then you become the little old lady with the hump at the supermarket.
Or man. Yes, I think the thing there is if it's left too long,
you can't fix it.
Obviously, we tend to kind of fuse, for want of a better word, and after a while we lose that ability to be mobile.
Well, that's what my chiropractor says. So if your body is having this uneven stress and pressure, it starts to build like scaffolding to try and protect itself.
Calcification often happens.
Exactly, which is fusion, really.
Indeed.
And pointy bits and all sorts of things. So your body starts to try and correct this issue.
That's right. So there are definitely things when you're feeling like this, things that we can do, and they can be small tweaks that we make in our day. And look, for the most part, much of the issues that I see that are not perhaps congenial or sport related are about our sedentary behaviour.
Yep.
The fact that we sit at a desk. I think the two biggest offenders are sitting at a desk and obviously focusing on a computer, a device.
And having it at the wrong height.
So all of those things, there are different tweaks. Some of the things I like to say to people in those situations, we just start with one or two tweaks.
Yep.
Because if you're conscious of something, then you can start to make some changes. It's when you're not conscious of it, even if you kind of know, you don't, if someone else points it out sometimes, I think that, and give you some strategy around it, then it's in your head. So I generally...
Well, it was you picking on me. No, I don't mean picking on me, but you mentioning, like, you should sit up straight. You should sit up straight. And it was actually something that got in my head, and I noticed if I noticed myself slouching, go, oh, sit up straight. I should sit up straight. And now, because I've been to my chiropractor and things, like I'm supposed to sit in my car chair, sit back and have my lumbar supported, and all these things I'm starting to notice that I never did before.
I think one of the huge offenders in this is that we are generally weak in the core. So we are not supported in the thoracic.
Yeah. And that's
area.
So that's putting extra stress on our back, right? Because we're not supported at the front.
And people, indeed, so on your lumbar spine, the strength of the core, and you hear, PTs all the time, I've got to work on core, but it's actually very true.
Yeah.
We really do. We can't stack ourselves properly and allow our framework, our skeleton to work properly. If we're weak here, if we're sitting here like this, everything is thrown out. So that's number one. I sort of say to people, okay, we're going to work on your core. That's one thing, but there's a few things that I'd like you to do in your day. One is, and we'll go into more detail on this, but I say to them, start with 2 feet on the floor. When you're sitting at the desk,
yeah, that's
2
always
feet
the one, isn't
on
it?
the floor.
Oh.
And I'm a serial leg crosser.
Oh, me too.
I don't know. They have a mind of their own. As soon as I say feet on the floor, the next minute I've reached for the keyboard and my legs are crossed again. One
leg over rather than the other. Like, you don't even do it evenly. You know what I mean? You don't do the other leg on the...
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, you always favour one.
Yeah.
And I find with a lot of people who are IT focused, etc., they will often be leaning forward into the computer all the time. Like,
because they can't see and we're old and we're blind.
Well, it's not so much that. They're intently working on what they're working on. And it's a matter of, like, this is how they focus.
Yeah.
But, of course, with that comes bad posture.
Yeah.
So they focus in, their shoulders round, and they lose it. So I say to them, bring the keyboard to you. Bring the keyboard to you and sit at the right height.
And if you can have those drop keypads in the desks and things, those ergonomic desks, they are fantastic. But even better is those sit-stand desks. I so badly want one. I'm saving up. I think that's, for me, the next sort of phase that I take people into, which is whether it's a sit-stand desk, which I think is amazing, and if you can, stick a treadmill under it and walk as well. That's right, exactly. That's maybe the third phase. I've seen people do that, but it is to actually have breaks. Yeah. We all talk about it. We all know about it, having a few minutes break from the keyboard. But stand up, and move around for a couple of minutes. Yeah, relax for a minute. It's not only just posturally, but the intensity that we have. We're actually designed to do this. It might take a few more years of evolution that we can do it. But I think that the main thing is that we're so focused on screens, but it takes its toll. And the other thing that is one huge offender here is people gaming or working from the couch or bed. Oh, yeah.
So I call
It's
it
the best place.
I
mean, not the best
I know.
place.
It's a luxury, but you know what? It's just messing with you. I call it hammock back to my children. I'm like, you got a hammock back. You're doing hammock back. And it's just that sitting down and, it's
Slouching
It's
and
all good.
yeah.
But you think about it when you are in bed or on the couch like that, you have that your spine curved very unnaturally and your head comes forward. So you got that, kilos of pressure on your spine where it shouldn't be. And, most children say, well, we're sitting down. And it's like, yes, but you have to stand up. So all of those muscles that shouldn't be are in play and all the ones that probably should be supporting you are relaxed.
And
so when you go to stand up, it's like, ow.
Our kids probably hate us, but I am now onto my son as well. Like I see him in the car with the iPad and stuff and I'm like, dude, put it in the thing on the back of the seat or, hold it up.
Yeah.
It's hard, I know. He's gaming. Like, it's hard.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you don't want mummy's Technic.
Yes, that's right. Nobody needs Technic in their
Nobody
life.
needs Technic.
Yeah, I think the two things to have a look at here, which is dynamic stretching.
Dynamic stretching. Sounds fun.
And the roller.
The roller.
Yeah, so they are, one doesn't require any investment whatsoever. The other, a small investment in your future. The health of your spine. And those two things, they certainly won't fix everything, but they will help. Some people have issues that require, as I said before, some
Professional, medically trained people.
That's right. Before we get to the more exercise-based routines that are needed.
You're the long-term support.
Indeed.
The initial people should be the experts.
I am your long-term support.
You're my support gal.
I am. Andrea,
Julie.
Guess what?
You've been to the supermarket.
well, I'm hungry again. That's what I was going to say. But I have been to the supermarket again. I really do like, I'm the supermarket stalker.
Yeah.
Not of people, but of food. Need to clarify that.
You should clarify that, definitely.
I am constantly in there perusing what I can eat, to be honest. I suppose that's why we're all there.
You're probably always hungry. So every time you go to the supermarket and they say you should never shop when you're hungry, Jules, and the amount of food you've just brought in tonight, that is why.
Well, actually, you were a bit of inspo for me to go into the supermarket this week, and I was doing savoury because,
I love
sweet.
savoury.
Although I couldn't help myself, there is one sweet in here.
Of course.
But, and these are not new, and I know that most people know these little things, and excuse the crickly and crackling. So anyone who's listening to the podcast.
Harvest baked pea crisps. Now, Julie, I know these are probably good for you and all.
Shush, I don't want to hear your negativity.
I'm just going to say, did you keep your receipt? How many of these have you eaten?
Well, I've eaten them in the past, but I haven't eaten any of these.
There was a recall.
What?
There was a recall on these.
Why?
Because there was some allergen not mentioned on certain packets. So if you do have these in your cupboard, please check the websites that they've provided you with, no doubt, on what use-by dates you have to look at and which ones need to go back to the shop.
What, is it a use-by date thing?
No, it's actually, I think it's got an allergen in there that's not mentioned on the packet. So obviously someone's had an allergic reaction.
Okay, so if you're sensitive to those sort of things,
Please be careful.
Absolutely. For the rest of you,
Yum, dig in.
Don't listen to Andrea. I love these. And what I was excited about, so we all know there's 4 different flavours now. I didn't know that, yeah? There's your plain ones and your salt and vinegar ones, which I knew about. But there are wasabi ones.
And chili.
And I love chili. So there's 4 different flavours of these Harvest Snaps. Look, I don't know particularly how good they are for you, but they have a 5-star rating, some of them. I think I haven't actually looked at the back of the pack properly.
Are you joking?
Oh, and I did when I was in the supermarket.
Too busy shoving them in your
But
face.
I really don't want to sit and
Less
analyse
than 100
these.
calories per serve. And it has got a 5-star health rating. So going on that, we're going to assume much better option than some of the other
Baked,
things.
not fried. They're vegan friendly. They've got no palm oil in, which is a cholesterol
Great
issue.
source of fibre.
Indeed. They're actually they've got a reasonable amount of protein in them. I'm always banging on about protein. About 17, 18 grams
actually,
per
that's
100.
quite good.
It is quite good. They're relatively low in fat. And you've got to watch the sodium level in obviously all of these.
Gluten-free?
Gluten-free. So, get these into you and have a crack. If you like chili, have a crack at those. And I'm a wasabi piggy. So, yum. Let's eat all those. Okay. So, they're yummy.
Yummy!
I was also in there. I can't walk past the word protein. You know that.
That's
and
the
I
marketing
like these.
gold.
These are positive little numbers. They're from Joy Street.
Joy Street.
So if you've got a joy in your life, then or you want some,
I'm going to go look up Amelways.
these
Where's
are protein
Joy
puffs.
Street?
Now I have not opened these, so I don't know whether these are good or bad. But they have huge amounts of protein. That's as I said, I couldn't walk past them because
Cheese flavoured, more than 25 grams of protein per bag, and it says snack without compromise.
there you go. Less than 100 calories per serve. There's sweet chili and sour cream and cheese. I know, chili thing again. So that's me.
And in fact, it says on the back, Yum lives here in Joy
there you
Street.
go.
That's Yum.
Yum
lives
in Joy
there.
Street. I mean, what could possibly, be wrong with that? But what they are is an incredibly good, if they're yummy, I don't know whether they are yet, incredibly good, alternative to your regular
Exactly.
chips, which are cholesterol nightmares.
They
okay?
really are. And these are made by Freedom Foods, actually, and 76% Australian ingredients. So I'm always happy when,
Yeah,
there's
me
a
too.
considerable
That's
amount
a
of
very
Australian
good point.
ingredients.
Indeed.
Well done.
I also, and there were two lots of these, one barbecue and one sour cream and chives. They are protein chips by Sunrise.
Oh.
Yeah, so they're rice
Another
orientated.
good
Have a little
Australian
look at
brand
those for
made
me.
in Thailand. But anyway,
Okay. But so I don't know what they're like. Why don't you crack those open?
Do you want me to crack them open?
Now these are a little bit on the pricey side.
Oh, maybe I
for a
shouldn't
small
open
pack.
them.
No, I'll just open them. You're worth it.
you're not going to charge me at the end, are you?
I am.
You're going to bill me.
Indeed.
Put it on my tab,
Now,
Julie.
I had to have a little laugh
I
because
can't get it open.
some of these things, I was trying to get into a packet of something last night, and you know what? I thought these will definitely reduce, your calories because you can't frigging open them.
Can we bust out Fury for this?
I think sometimes my father is amazing, and he says, sometimes it's the path of least resistance.
Oh,
which
yeah,
is
you've
like-
gone down the side.
Which is that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, I'm going to try. So these are Sunrise. What are they called?
Can I tell you? Can I tell you a little story? See these little perforations on the top of this. This is a little side note here.
I'll just mute my microphone while I chew.
Yeah, awesome. When Pax used to have a straight cut. Well, Mars Confectionery the Mars Confectionery in Ballarat, where my father worked, they had that straight, and they no one could.
Wait, your dad worked at Mars Confectionery?
Indeed, and that's why I think that's why I'm a chocoholic.
Oh my God, did he bring home Mars all the time?
All the time.
Oh my God.
And you know what? I'm not a fan, but which is lucky.
I would have so been a fan.
They could not open the packs at
Yeah,
Mars.
yeah.
So my father, he's an amazing man. He went home, as he does, and has a little think about it, and went back and said, let's do a jagged edge on it so it's easy to open. And I would suggest this is the result of him doing that. So all of the chocolate bars for Mars Confectionery, and then they followed suit with Cadbury's and so forth, put a little jagged edge.
Oh my
so that
God,
you
it's because of your dad.
So, yeah, but Dad was not entrepreneurial.
No, my dad was a bit the same. My dad had this idea to use old road tyres to make edging on the side of the road so it'd wake you up when you drove over it. Guess what we've got now?
Yeah. So why aren't we loaded?
My dad didn't actually put it into practice.
Why aren't we the family of moguls?
He just waited for someone else to do it. That's me. I'm full of ideas. Don't ever do it.
My dad did it. There was no reco from him doing that, and they put it into play, and they've obviously made heaps of money. I don't know whether they trademarked it, but here's a shout out to my dad who actually invented or came up with that idea.
So smart, dude.
Go, John.
You are a legend.
So, sorry, I digress.
They're actually quite nice. Protein chips by Sunrise, sour cream and chives, really yummy.
Well, they're really yummy. They do have a bit of a high price tag, but if you value your health, you're worth it.
You're worth it, girl.
Now, the other thing I always have, and you probably, if you have watched one of our episodes where I did bring my lunchbox in, it's quite big. My little go-to is these little numbers. They're
tuna slices.
Tuna slices, and again to follow on the chili path that we're on today. Some of them are in
olive oil with chili.
Yeah.
So do you recommend the olive oil, or do you go the brine or the spring water?
Never the brine.
Right.
Spring water or olive oil.
Okay.
And I find that probably the healthier option is to actually buy the spring water. and then I add olive oil. But when you're in the car, that's not easy.
No.
So I just do these. So,
Great idea.
Yeah, and they are nice. They're like luxury tuna.
Can I open the box to see what's inside?
Absolutely.
Is it a tin or something?
It's a tin. So, yeah, it's like the old sardine
Oh,
tin.
the old sardine tin.
Yeah. So you peel that back. There's no sardines. I don't like them.
Yep.
But I find they're like, they're like a little treat in the tuna town. And, you
Tuna town.
You pop them on your dry bicky and they're delicious. But I don't actually do that. I just eat them from the can. I'm like a cat.
You act like a bit of a cat sometimes.
And look, you know what? I know this. We're going on about things, but I had to bring a sweet thing into it.
Oh, I've had these.
These are. Well, I know they're protein bars, but to be honest,
It's only 10 grams.
that's right. They're not really.
No.
But they are delicious. They're from Aldi.
Yeah, Hillcrest.
And they are low in fat and low in saturated fats in particular, relatively low in sugars for these type of bars, which can be right up there for, 20, and 30, close to 30% per 100 grams. So they're low in sodium and they're, to be quite honest, they're delicious. And I'm not a big muesli bar eater, but these things are yum.
Again, gluten-free, which is always handy if people have got
And
some
these are
kind
my
of gluten.
favourite, the ones with yogurt. They're yummy.
Yeah.
They're kind of...
This one has salted dark chocolate.
Yeah. Aldi, super affordable, pretty good for, for your kids' lunchbox and your own lunchbox. That's it today. They're going to.
Right, they're going.
Awesome.
So, thank you for that healthy injection into our pantries.
Okay.
What, is that wrong?
Okay.
Was a healthier injection?
Okay, stop saying that.
Okay.
We'll be back in a minute.
All right, well, we've come to the end of our podcast, and normally we do highlights and hiccups, and I love the highlights part, but the hiccup part was starting to get to me. It was like we're focusing on the negative.
A little bit negative.
Shall we
You know
ditch
what?
that?
I don't want to think of those things, know.
Yeah, let's just think of the good stuff. Like,
Okay.
I'm going to win a Mercedes, an electric Mercedes.
I think I will too.
Yeah,
Why do you
no.
think that? Why do you think that?
Well, the other day I got a phone call from a lovely lady from Act for Kids. Now, I have bought raffle tickets through them before. There was a limited number.
What are Act for Kids?
Act for Kids are a charity that look after kids and support kids who are in questionable situations.
Right,
Okay. So
okay.
it's a wonderful cause.
It is a wonderful cause.
And a
I haven't
wonderful
heard of
prize.
them before. Oh, and a wonderful prize. So
That's totally altruistic or altruistic. Anyway, it's the bad one. I just want to win the prize. So I bought her tickets, and then I was on TikTok, and then they said that it was Lionsgate, which is the 8th of the 8th. And the 8th of the 8th means that it's the day when if you manifest something, it's most likely to happen. So, of course, I'm sitting there going, I'm going to win the Mercedes. I'm going to win the Mercedes. It's a sign. It's a sign.
shit.
It's a sign.
I wonder what I was thinking on that day.
Oh, yeah. What were you thinking?
I don't know what's going to manifest itself.
It was probably just like, more chocolate.
That's right. It probably was chocolate teddies. Yummy.
Yeah. So there you go. I am hanging to get my electric car. I'll come pick you up. You won't hear me coming. It's electric.
That's right. It'll be surprise. Surprise. I like it. A chauffeur. I hope you win too.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, you know what? I love this positivity that
Yeah.
you're talking about. I came across something in the last week that I was pretty excited about. It really resonated with me, and it is the 3 C's of life.
Which I think is chocolate and CC's, like the corn chips. That's 3 C's right there.
That's better than what you were saying before.
They were dirty
So
ones.
they were. So 3 C's of life. They are chances, choices,
Yes.
and change. So you must take a chance to make a choice to change your life.
Oh, that's so deep.
It is deep, but you know what? It is, and it can sometimes be a very scary thing to do. But I see it all the time. I see brave people who perhaps, are not into fitness or have never been in a gym before, and they're really out of their comfort zone. They take a chance here and make a choice to come see a fitness professional or become a gym member. and then they make that change for the sake of their health. And I applaud them because it can be a very scary thing to do. And it doesn't actually necessarily, of course, apply to, a health and fitness journey. There are a lot of times that we have to be brave and take a chance and make that choice and to make a change in our lives.
Oh, yeah, it can be on anything.
So I'd like to leave that with, our listeners and our viewers to have a think about what their 3 C's of life are. And I'd love to hear about them, wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely. You could email them, evolvethepodcast@gmail.com, or jump onto our socials and DM us. We'd love to know when you've really taken a chance, made a big choice, and had a massive change. And maybe it was something awesome and positive that you could share with us. We'd love to share that for you.
And you know what? It doesn't have to be a big thing. Yeah, all positive change is good.
Absolutely.
So let's hear it. We don't want to hear the weird ones that Andrea came up with, but we do absolutely want to hear from you. So share your positive story with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening and for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Peace out.
Bye.
Evolv the Podcast.
Say goodbye to Andrea and Julie.
This episode of Evolv the Podcast was co-produced by Julie Saunders and Andrea Waycott. If you wish to get in contact with the show, please reach out on social media. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, or email evolvethepodcast@gmail.com. That is Evolv with no E. Thanks for listening. Till next time.